Hey, hello. Welcome to our living room. We're both a bit tired tonight, so we're going to do a short one. If that's all right with you? Look, oh dear, the old book went on the floor. It's day 56 of lockdown, and that's start of week 8, I guess.
Yep, it's every day.
And,
And it's a bit late.
It's a bit late, and I do apologise for that. And yeah, we're going to keep it very short and sweet tonight, and just say a few things about lockdown. Because hello, Paul. It's very nice to have you with us. 7 p.m. time slot. It's a bit late tonight. Hope you're well, sir, and that everything's going well with you. I was just talking about you actually today and your collection of amazing and remarkable DVDs of train journeys to my friend Andrew this morning. We were having a bit of a natter, and we thought it was a remarkable achievement. And I'm not sure over how many years you built up and filmed that collection, but it's awesome. And it's a really extraordinary and very niche, and I can see always in demand sort of product. So you know, for others watching us tonight, yeah, it's a great thing that my friend Paul does. Now we're going to rattle through this quite quickly because we've got an early start in the morning. We are here, there, and everywhere. It says in the title, which I think is it's a Beatles song, isn't it? Yeah, it is actually. And so we're going to rattle through tonight a little faster than usual, for which we apologise. What's been going on in the old news? The numbers, because you know I run this little spreadsheet about coronavirus and what's going on and what the latest situation is. The numbers are coming down very nicely, but I've got a friend who lives by the seaside. Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside, and he told me that in his town, and I'm not going to say, I'm not going to name and shame, but in fact it's a couple, and in their town, it's appalling, and they were showing us some photographs, weren't they, of people on the beaches like any normal summer's day, and Vox pops interviewing these people, and they're going, well, it's sunny, I'm going out to get some sun, aren't I? You know, and maybe one of them had a handkerchief over their face, but that won't really help. And so if all the good work of the last 8 weeks is undone, that will be very sad indeed, actually, and kind of annoying for those of us who've been behaving and like, you know, staying home when we were told to, and all that kind of stuff. But you know, so what did another thing I was talking about actually on thank you. Another thing I was talking about on my and Andrew is with us. Hello, sir.
Hello,
We
Andrew.
were just about to talk about some stuff that we were and there's a fellow at a news conference interrupting him. Don't these guys have any? Are these guys polite? Good gracious, old me. We'll come back to that in a minute. But one thing that I was talking about tonight on my live with Andrew and everybody is the possibility that if we're all sort of super behave and everybody does what is recommended, then all this thing kind of fizzles out quite soon in the year, which would be just pretty awesome. And then we can all go back to leading our normal lives. And Andrew and I were even discussing about, you know, we could have a nice Christmas party, but we're not booking it just yet. So because the jury's out a bit, and we're also talking about you know, that the government's job is to kind of, it's a difficult job because they're supposed to not make us all depressed by saying, oh, it's going to go on forever, it's gloomy. But at the same time, they're going to make us gloomy enough that we don't go down to the beach. So it's not an enviable job, to be fair. And so, you know, these guys are going on the old podium and doing their stuff. So theoretically, coronavirus testing today, as of the announcement, was extended to everybody who's more than 5 years old. So that's us too. just about. I do still have to give my ID when I go into buy alcohol, but you know, I can go into the early learning centre and I can buy carte blanche without proof of age. So Professor Jonathan Van Tam warned that the autumn and winter may be a good breeding time for this disease. That's not a very cheerful thing, is it really? I don't know what anosmia is, but I'm going to have to look it up because it's obviously something that is relevant to our current thing, because it's another symptom of COVID-19. It's another of these words like comorbidity
Anosmia.
that I'd never heard of before. Anosmia, yeah, I've no idea what that is. ANOSMIA. We have a new word every day, and usually it's from Elam's book, isn't it? And today, this is the word anosmia, which came from a newspaper article. It doesn't tell you what the heck it is, so I'm going to have to look it up in some online dictionary now. How awfully embarrassing. Let us have a look. But anosmia. Oh, changed sense of smell.
Oh, my friend had that, but she had a very, very strong kind of cold years ago.
Yeah. Oh.
And she lost the sense of smell for months.
Oh, but I mean, it's hardly like a ground breaking sort of jaw dropping major symptom, is it really? But anyway, they're adding that to the list of symptoms, and we've read about that before. So but just the fact that it might go on a little while is a bit on the old miserable side. Who's that ugly guy with blonde hair? Oh, that one. That one.
Oh dear.
He needs a comb for Christmas.
Not me.
Yeah. So yeah, are they getting the balance right? You tell me, are they getting the balance right between scaring people enough to not go to beauty spots and spread this, versus the people at home who are going a bit doolally? That's today's $5,000 question. We are racing through our usual content tonight. We're probably going to do about half an hour, and then we're going to hit the sack because and hello Naomi. We've got an early start tomorrow. We've had a late start to this tonight, so I'm afraid we're not going to do the normal length of talk that we do, but we're not going to talk twice as fast either, I don't think. No. But we had to really kind of, gee ourselves up to go to that. Now look,
3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah. So some one or two not so bright things. Doubts over the Oxford vaccine as it fails to stop the virus in animal trials. That is not good. That is not good, because on that Andrew Marr show, the lead lady who was kind of doing it was talking about how she felt there was an 80% chance that we'd have that virus under control, the vaccine that would be out by the autumn. So it is possible that that may not now happen. We'll have to obviously wait and see the outcome of that, but that's not a good headline to read right now, and we'll have to see where that one takes us. The vaccine was tried in some rhesus macaque monkeys, and it didn't stop them from catching the virus, so it might only be partly effective. They all, in fact, became infected when they were challenged, as judged by recovery of virus genomic RNA from their nose. So they did the old swabs. And they had all been contracted. Andrew apologises for making me late. Don't be silly, my very good friend. It's of no problem at all. We had a lovely time, and actually it wasn't you that made us late. It was something we were doing this afternoon, which got us all out of sync. And we had a lovely time, Andrew, doing your video this evening. So
watching also.
Please,
Excellent.
it was a great honour to be invited. Irma was next door watching, and I wouldn't have missed it for the world. And we had a lovely old time. Kevin, a very good evening to you, sir.
Kevin.
It's very nice to have you with us. And Michael as well, David, and Sylvia. Oh my goodness me! A lot of people have just joined us, and it's absolutely no problem at all. And I've got all these keyboards here, and I'm typing a quick message to my friend Andrew while I remember it, and then we'll carry on. Whoa, I can't spell the word honour. To be invited. There we are. So
yeah, a lot of wisdom coming out from the property world in terms of what's next.
Yeah, absolutely so, and there we are, and so anyways, let us continue, and I've managed to now hide all the comments on my thing. And that's interesting, isn't it? I can't read anybody's comments and see who's joining anymore. But I can't refresh the page either, because then the video will stop. So that is a rather interesting situation we've got here, which we're going to try and fix while we're going live. It proves it's live, folks, and it also proves that you have to kind of keep your beans around you while you're doing this, because the tech is very unforgiving, and just every now and again it doesn't do quite the thing that you were maybe expecting it to do, which is all, it's all rock and roll, isn't it, really? And yeah, a very interesting thing. Well, yeah, at least I can't necessarily. Hello, Sylvia. Yes, thank you. We are very well, and we absolutely hope that you are as well.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying.
No, if you hear the chat box, there might help.
It does not.
If the down arrow.
The what? The brown arrow.
Down arrow.
The down arrow doesn't work.
Ooh.
The up arrow doesn't work.
Oh
The
goodness.
sideways arrow there doesn't work, and maybe the back arrow there works, but it might take us off the air. It would have taken us off the air, so we're not going to use the back arrow either. So I can't. I can sort of partly see what's going on this evening. My goodness me, what a thing we're having tonight. It doesn't enable me at the moment to say hello to people as they join, so I apologise for that. So not a good, not an encouraging result for the Oxford, the much touted Oxford vaccine for coronavirus. Having said that, there's always a silver lining to every cloud. No, it's over around, isn't it? A cloud to every silver lining, and there is another potential vaccine that does appear to be safe and does appear to be working, and that's on the other side of the pond in Massachusetts, a place that's more linked actually with Cambridge here. So this is like the boat race, isn't it? Really, that
Cambridge has been very quiet during this pandemic. Do you know why?
Cambridge has, yeah. So this is a company called Moderna. And they've had 8 healthy volunteers who took the vaccine and haven't really seen much by way of adverse effects after a couple of doses. So that obviously we will need to test it on more than 8 people if we're going to give it to 8 million or whatever. But it does appear the Moderna virus to trigger that all-important immune response, which is what we want. We want to shake up the old immune system, and we want people to for their bodies to be alerted to this nasty, horrible lurgy that is going around doing all sorts of things that it shouldn't. Note to self: never reply to somebody's comment whilst doing a live, or suddenly you can't see what the heck's going on anymore.
Try to make a comment in your own tab.
Do what? Pin the comment? What?
Try to make a comment on your own tab, underneath, below that.
Underneath? I can't even do that.
Yeah, just in this one here, right there. That's it. And now press enter.
And
Press enter.
And I'll just
press
say
hello. And just press enter.
And press enter. This is like a computer lesson, isn't it? This is silly. And I press enter, and there it goes, hello, and then that will appear on the other one. That's a kind of pointless thing that I've just done there, which I've now got to go onto the other window to delete. My goodness me, the problems we have with our tech
Anyway, it is a shame that Oxford is really behind in terms of not behind. It's just that nothing seems to be working. I think at the end of the day, what is going to be is treatment. In the meantime, if we are on the weather, just get tested and just stay indoors is the safest thing to do.
Yes.
At least that's what we're doing, and just doing the necessary in terms of doing the everyday thing in our lives. In terms of kind of going back to work, although as self-employed, I mean, we work all the time. There's no furlough, there's nothing. We just keep on going.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. And so, and in the Oxford one, none of the vaccinated rhesus monkeys developed pneumonia. So it might be working a bit. We just look. It's a complete. It's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, as the expression goes. And I think we should really just let the scientists carry on and not sort of interfere and not have these silly commentators on Facebook talking about something which perhaps they shouldn't. I don't know. But early days, good, bad. But I mean, the good is that the vaccine trials haven't been abandoned on either side of the Atlantic. They're pushing on. There are, I know, at last count, I think it was about 300 tests of different combinations of various drugs that are being tested. So it's all going forward. Having said that, Professor Neil Ferguson, he was the guy, wasn't he, who came up with this model that caused us to go into a lockdown. Then he had a kind of tryst with his mistress and rapidly left his post, allegedly. And now some computer geeky people have been investigating his code that they used for this Imperial College model of the interventions and the outcomes for. See, it wasn't as good as our software that we wrote with Rocker Kev, and this guy who is he describes himself as a global leader in big data software, jointly headquartered, interestingly enough, in Silicon Valley and Sheffield. That is the guy criticising Neil Ferguson, not Neil Ferguson, and this guy says that he doesn't like the code that Imperial College wrote their software on that predicted all that stuff that caused us to lock down. That doesn't, of course, mean it's wrong. Just the fact that it's not written in elegant code, and in defence of Neil Ferguson, they might have written it in a hurry. It does mean it's more difficult for sort of independent people to vindicate that research. But that is absolutely another story. It's absolutely another story, so I've pushed a button now on the old thing here, which might or might not cause something to happen here. It doesn't. What do you know? Oh, isn't Facebook wonderful? It is. God bless Mark Zuckerberg and all his friends and neighbours. Yours. Right. Well, okay. I said we're doing a short video tonight. So encouraged by the fact that the tech isn't working quite as well as it should.
Do we get the questions?
We can. I think we can get the questions actually that Kevin sent us this evening, because we always do those as part of our evening broadcast. So let us find the questions. I'm sorry that at the moment that we can't see who's watching and we can't read your messages. That is a bit of a bug, but if we change it so that we can, the broadcast ends. So hey, but big thanks to Kevin this evening for supplying these questions. Danny from Bury says, when is the government going to outline the roadmap ahead beyond the pandemic to guarantee a swift fiscal, health and well-being recovery? Such a small ask. I think yes. Well, the government's roadmap differs from those of our brethren in the other parts of the United Kingdom. I believe Nicola Sturgeon was about to outline hers. She's going to do one in a few days' time. But clearly there is a difference of opinion between England and all our partners in the United Kingdom. And so it will be very interesting to see how the Prime Minister maps this out. I sound like a spin doctor, don't I? But I think they're struggling a bit. Is reading between the lines.
Yeah. What I think is going to come down is to health and lifestyle. I don't think the vaccine is going to be something as a one fix all kind of thing. So it's going to be a combination of everything, because this thing seems to be behaving in a very, very uncharacteristic way in terms of he's mutating with whatever nuts and bolts that he finds inside the host in this case. So I'm not a doctor. This is just my personal opinion of what I see and gathering common sense. There's no vaccine. There's going to be down to lifestyle and looking after yourself, eating healthily, and do a bit of exercise. Just keep yourself as trim as you can and as healthy as you can, taking your vitamins and your multivitamins just to strengthen your immune system. This is my bet on things. So, yes, the government needs to address this if that's going to be the case. And is it going to be down to sugar is to blame? There's no vaccine. There's going to be.
Well, I did something to the audio, didn't I? And I think I've fixed it now, because it's got a still frame of us in another tab. I mean, you've got to love computers, haven't you? But I can see the comments.
Are we still live?
And this is absolutely wonderful. Yes, we are still live. We're live in this other window here. You see,
hello.
and in another window there, we can see the comments. It's most bizarre.
You can tell he's late, and it's been a long day of Zoom calls and shuffling stuff around. So apologies for that.
It's okay. It's okay. We're yeah. We even went for a little drive in the car, and it wasn't a kind of naughty one. It
It
was
was
a
a necessary one.
it was a necessary one for work. As of Monday, which is today, as it happens by some bizarre coincidence,
Until, yeah, until 12.
in Italy, where they had a really bad case of the old corona, we were watching this with horror unfolding at the beginning of March, and because they were slightly ahead of us on this one. They're starting to lift the lockdown. Did you hear about that? I think you were telling me about that this morning,
Yes,
weren't you?
yeah.
That we can go to hairdressers, or they can, and shops and restaurants. 10 weeks of lockdown. You can travel if you stay within your region, and pals can meet in restaurants as long as the tables are 2 meters apart. So, so if you want the old morning coffee, you'll be able to have it, but you'll have to stand up. You'll be spaced along by the counter. I'm going to try and show you this picture. And so the coffees will be spaced out along the counter in the old cafeteria, 2 meters apart, and everybody will be wearing masks and things. Masks, I suppose, make it quite different. Make it quite difficult to enjoy your coffee, because what do you do? And at that point you infect yourself. So kind of, don't know. I'm not quite so sure about that.
It's gonna turn out to be something funny. Today, we went out in our drive. I saw this man wearing a mask. He must have had an itchy nose, and he just lifted his mask and then just wiped his nose and put it back down again. What is the point?
Oh my, that's perhaps not the most
No.
elegant of solutions. And I've seen guys as well, not in real life, but there was this video, which I'm sure is true, on YouTube the other day, where there was this guy with gloves on. You saw that with me. It was close to the start of the pandemic lockdown thing, and he's got his gloves on his trolley or something, and then he just scratches his nose with his glove.
Mm-hmm.
So and there's a lady who cut a hole in the mask. I don't know whether that was for fun, a sort of posed one, or whether it was somebody who was just a bit not very gifted in the old cerebral department.
We didn't do the question number 2.
Oh yes, let's deal with question number 2, since and so question number 2 is as follows. James from Wittering: is the government preparing for a second wave? PPE, ventilators, testing, etc., so that all the issues of the first wave won't happen again? What do you reckon? Do you think they'll be preparing as they failed to prepare last time?
They already prepared that Nightingale Hospital and things like that. That is
They
not
did
being
prepare
used.
that,
I
to
think
be fair.
he had a couple of patients in it. So
I think it had 20 patients in all out of about 4,000 beds, because and that was a total planning disaster, because they could have taken some of the patients out of the hospitals, which were completely overwhelmed. They could have put them in the Nightingale, and then they could have maybe opened up a few operating theatres and dealt with a few other emergency things. But anyway, they chose not to.
yeah, but also, I understand part of it. Yes, it makes sense. Any patient with COVID should have been sent to these kind of especially made hospitals. However, they don't know how the thing is going to behave, so they need to have all the equipment that is available in a fully fitted hospital, together with the experience and the expertise of different medics there, to understand how it behaves. So that's why we have that data. So it was probably a necessary evil. So hopefully they will be prepared this time. Hopefully they know how those things behave and what kind of equipment is needed or the treatment is needed. And hopefully we'll be using this very expensive rented hospital that they put together in London.
Yeah.
And some other places.
At huge expense, we may say.
Yes.
And if they're not ready and we get another peak, I will have to go round. I'll have to have Boris round here, and I'll have to have a stern word with him.
But the thing is, in many towns, you see places, warehouses empty for a long time, and they could have really made very good hospitals like the Nightingale at a much lesser price. Make a deal with the councils and use them. But no, they rented this massive place out of whoever, and obviously it's not being used.
Yes.
Reason for concerns. We don't know whether it's going to be prepared or not.
Yeah. So the lockdown, the saga of, I suppose, what's the opposite of lockdown? Is it unlock up?
Don't know.
I don't know, but the relaxation of the rules continues all around the world, really, in various different countries. Not some countries, not Brazil, because they made a terrible mess of it. In New Zealand, hundreds of thousands of excited children returned to school again today after 2 months at home, but the kids weren't allowed to take them to the classroom or whatever. They had kiss and go zones where the parents said goodbye to the little ones, and then that reduced the contact with other families and it reduced the contact with teachers.
That's been a practice for a long time in Mexico. Yes, I went to Monterrey last year with my son, and to visit my niece and meet my grandnephew.
Yes.
And we did a school run with my grandnephew, and yes, there is a bay, especially for the cars, in which the child gets off the car, gets taken away by the one of the teachers, and that's it. There is no other contact in terms of that.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
And that was pre-COVID stuff. That was last year.
So what was the purpose of that one?
Well, the purpose of that one is to make a child more independent, to understand that he's going to school, and he's going to behave, and no frills kind of thing, I suppose. But I just found that amazing.
Absolutely.
Because there was someone just making sure that is the parent dropping the child, and it goes again, and yeah, everybody's doing it wrong.
And organised.
Yeah, very organised. I was impressed.
Yeah. Hello, Gaia. Thank you for joining us this evening. I hope you're still with us because I'm not sure whether we're seeing our things in real time at the moment. But you never know. You never know. I had a bit of a thing with the tech, and I've got these itchy fingers. And when I see a mouse there or whatever, I just can't resist on clicking it. And the trouble it gets me into. There's a spoon here, so because of our tech issues. That is what I deserve for messing it up.
This was what I get.
Oh!
Not tonight.
Oh no, not
that woke you up.
That did. Oh my. Now TikTok. There's a
Yes, it was. Yes, Kevin is saying there was high rental cost for London Nightingale. Yes, huge amount of money.
That would explain
and that's just for the rent. Just imagine all the fittings and.
Doesn't bear thinking about, does it? So TikTok, and I think that was the one where you showed me the funniest video of this guy dancing to Boris Johnson's announcement, which is, go to work, don't go to work, go out, don't go out. It's such a funny thing, and this guy was kind of dancing around with it to it and changing his stance and. But anyway, TikTok is being used by a clinical psychologist, not to impress his girlfriend, but to help people tackle mental health issues during lockdown. And it's a lady anyway. Dr. Julie Smith has made a range of videos breaking down ways to prevent anxiety and reduce worry.
Very good.
Being a sort of elderly sort of fella, we're having this discussion this afternoon. The only social media I really get is I understand Facebook. I don't understand how LinkedIn works because I post stuff there and nobody ever comments. I don't understand how Twitter works because although they've increased the minimum length of the message from there to there, all my message is about that long, so that doesn't work for me.
It's consistency on the actual posting that you do, and make sure that you use the correct hashtags. And Instagram is only to do with photos and little quotes, and you can
But how can you engage with people with photos and little quotes? That's the thing. How can you really build relationships?
You build a crowd.
Lol, soz, ha ha ha.
No, you can have a very good conversation. It's the same thing. You can have even messages and likes and
and all that sort of stuff. Well. You see, I'm not completely convinced, but yeah.
I have opened a TikTok account. I'm gonna get you to do one video. Shall I?
Well, we'll have to think about that.
Means no.
In the meantime, India's annual carbon emissions have fallen for the first time in 40 years. The country's CO2 emissions fell by 30% in April. I wonder why that was.
Duh.
Yeah, I don't know. These are the things that happen.
Reset. Mother Nature resetting.
This is weird.
Are you falling asleep?
No, I'm just reading this weird thing, which it looks like somebody made it up, or it's not the 1st of April, is it? But 3 Peruvian penguins, that's a nice bit of alliteration, took a school trip from their zoo to tour an empty museum in Missouri. Julien Zugazagoitia.
Sugasagoitia.
Oh, wow. Wow, Zugasakoitia.
Julian Sugasagoitia.
Julian Zugasakoitia. That's a wonderful. Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much. Julian Zugasakoitia. And there's me struggling when all you have to do is just, it rolls off the tongue. And I should have asked the linguistic consultant.
Yeah, okay. What happened with him?
He welcomed the special friends who viewed art from around the globe. They were just, aficionados and appreciators of art, as penguins are,
Yeah, he's the CEO of Kansas City Nelson Atkins Museum of Art. Interesting.
So Rotterdam did a light show. There were 300 in the Netherlands, of course. 300 illuminated drones made a moving red heart beating against the backdrop of the night sky as a tribute to healthcare workers. But it would be nice. And other countries have been complaining about this now, not just England. There was a protest in France about all the applause and medals and shit given to health workers, but not money.
Right, Oxford is failing with the trials and for the terms of vaccine, but apparently US vaccine trials show promising early results, according to this biotech.
That's cool. It's good to know that there is positive progress.
I still think it's going to be a mixture of both treatment and vaccine.
I think it is. And soap.
Yeah, we're supposed to wash every day.
I know. I find it so difficult.
I know you do.
Because the bar's always getting stuck. That's the trouble. Anyway, don't go there. But it is what it is, and we are where we are. And changing the subject rapidly, Forbes magazine talks about more trials and things that are going on, and he says that it says in between its headlines about billionaires, observation, leadership, and many other things, and of course the old thing, laptop, that's what it has frozen. But anyways, it says that that phase 3 trials of another medical vaccine for the drug are well underway. It is time to do some of that mindset stuff, because that's kind of what we need when it's 8 weeks in. And
yes, it's becoming a bit tiring. Yeah, I've been in lockdown, trying to get back to normal and trying to really speed up not only the economy of the country, but our own economy in terms of doing the things that we need to do. So, in terms of mindset, what would you like to read, David?
What have you got?
Right. Revive body and soul. How would you do that?
Sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, to revive your body and soul, basically, you need to oxygenate yourself. By that, meaning learning how to breathe. It is amazing how I didn't know how to breathe properly. Yes, we all, and that's how you develop kind of anxiety and things like that, because you're not oxygenating your body to the normal way, and by breathing normally, and what it is. So according to this, you need to breathe in, and once you breathe in, your stomach has to be coming out like an inflated balloon, and then
oh my.
So because by taking your stomach out, your lungs expand. Yes, and so yeah, there's a breathing technique that we need to do. So oxygenating by doing exercise, going up and down the stairs, making sure that you keep yourself mobile. My father used to do calisthenics exercise, which is now kind of stretches up and down every day. Coming out of as soon as he came out of bed, he would do that, and he would exercise. So I do that kind of thing also, but in my case, I do meditation. I find that very helpful. Why? Because it sets me for the day. Every day has its challenges, and as humans we have different kind of emotions, and sometimes these emotions overrule our thinking, our thoughts, and we get with this little monkey in our heads, blah 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 blah, giving you all sorts of messages that make you doubt about yourself. So if you learn to at least, if not meditate, oh, it's not your thing, at least just get 5 minutes in front of the mirror and say, you are worth it. I'm not talking about that brand of, I think it's cosmetics or whatever. But it is true. If you stand, whatever it is, just me time for 5 minutes in front of the mirror, in your bed, as soon as you get up, that will set you for your day. Say, this is a day, might have challenges, and you have all the skills to deal with every single thing that life throws at you. It's just a matter of using it. It's your tool set that you carry with you. This resilience. If you remember, well, if you don't remember, I don't remember when I was a baby, but you start rolling, then you begin to have 1-2 steps, and you fall, and go back up again, and then down again, and up again, until you start to walk, and then run and live your life. So everything is about baby steps in everything. So in life, and it's just the one life that you gotta live, and every day matters for whatever purpose you want to have and make out of your life, because that's what it is, your life. You might have a family, but if you are cool and good within yourself, everything else around you, in the form of your family, in the form of your surroundings, in the form of your quality of life, will dictate a huge outcome for you. Not for anybody else, just for you. And you're in charge. No one else is. Of course, now we were asked to be indoors with inmates in this lockdown. It is not easy. It is very challenging. It sets you in many different directions. But if you dedicate those 5 minutes, 10 minutes every day before your day starts, it just makes a huge difference. So that's a little bit of mindset.
That's terrific.
Are you awake?
I am. I was listening to every word. It's fabulous. I thought that was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us tonight.
You're welcome.
And what we need is, I think, a few more words of wisdom at the end of every one of these, and a little bit less claptrap from me, because, yeah.
And just keep your face always towards the sunshine, and shadows will fall behind you. This was by Walt Whitman.
Wow, how cool! How cool is that? I think with that, we're going to bid you good night, because we're going to be up at about 6 in the morning, and we've got lots to do tomorrow, unfortunately. So sorry for being a little bit impolite this evening, if that's what it is. But it's been a pleasure having you with us, as always. And tomorrow we'll be a bit more focused, I think, although there's a rock show to do as well. Hey, that's exactly. That's wonderful. That's like the old Soviet Union leaders that used to be on the balcony, especially Leonid Brezhnev. They used to stand on the balcony on May Day parade and wave at all the things going past. Yeah, that's about it. And with that, how do you follow that? You don't really. So thank you so much for your company tonight. It's been wonderful to have you with us. And thank you to my friend Andrew, if he's still watching us tonight,
as well.
because it was an honour to have me on earlier on his little thing, which was a terrific event, and I really enjoyed it. And other than that, a very good night to everyone, and we will look forward to seeing you next time, which will probably be like tomorrow for a reasonably short one, a bit earlier, and then Wednesday back to normal. Take care now.
Bye now.